Hello, Black women. Happy No-vember. Okay. It is November the 8th, and we are in November, my favorite time of the year. A beautiful time to say no to things and a time to let go. Good times. Okay. Today, I am talking to you guys about how, as Black women, we can win anyway. That's the topic. I was inspired by this topic to talk about this because I have a shirt in my shop and it says win anyway. There it is. And I feel like today, the Friday after we have gone through the United States of America elections and found out the results, it's an appropriate time to talk specifically to my audience of Black women that I love about ways that we can prioritize our well-being. We can amplify our joy. We can elevate our agency. And even in a time when many of us are feeling our feels and how we feel, we can win anyway. Okay. That's what inspired today's talk. If you are watching, I am live today on Facebook and YouTube. Drop a pineapple in the chat. Let me know where you are watching from. Let me know how you're feeling today. Let me know if you've been resting, if you've been drinking water. I can't say if you've been minding your business because it's not a minding your business type of season. This week is not a minding your business type of season. Okay. Before we get into the conversation, drop a pineapple in the chat. Tell me where you are and check in, Black woman. Let me know how you're feeling right now. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me introduce myself. Hi, you guys. My name is Rashni. I am a content creator. I am a special needs mom, and I am a certified life coach. As of this week, I graduated from my coaching certification program this week. And even though this week has been overshadowed with a lot of stuff, I'm still going to celebrate myself because I spent a year in a comprehensive program covering all types of integrated parts of human health, mind, spirit, body, emotion, etc. And I graduated. So I am a certified life coach, specifically working with Black and West Indian women to create the lives that they want. And I feel like the work that I do right now is so important because we are on the heels of the election results. Amen. And unfortunately, based off of the Jojo says certified girl. Okay, ain't nothing gonna break up my style. Busted my butt doing it, right? It was a good time to be had by all, and now I'm certified. Okay. And so now the gift has some credentials behind it. I was already certified by Jesus. But now I'm certified by the Institute of Integrative Health. Okay, I'm certified. Amen. Certified. Hi, Blue Isis. How are you? How are you? Today's going to be a chill day. I have notes. I'm going to get to the notes. If I don't get to the notes, that's fine. I'm out here today because I know that we as Black women need each other in these moments. And I already told y'all, I create humor-filled healing spaces so that other Black women can heal too. And it's not just on regular days. It's on days when we need the spaces. Jelia said, hey, I'm actually minding my business, buying a house. You're buying a house? Congratulations. That's amazing. Yay. Congrats. Congrats. Okay. Blue Isis says, yes, chill. We will win anyway. And I'm going to tell y'all what I mean by win anyway. And here's the thing, if you've been around me for a while, it's not going to be much different than what I've been telling y'all. But for such a time as this, you're going to see that what I've been telling y'all is what I still hope for us as Black women, a lesson that I've been learning and a lesson I hope you as well are learning. Hi, Maya. Hi, Maya. Feeling slightly better than Wednesday, but still working through mixed emotions. Okay, so let's talk about Wednesday. Let's talk about Wednesday, you guys. On Tuesday, November 6th, the U.S. elections were held, and many of us went to sleep on Tuesday night, and or like myself, woke up on Wednesday morning, amen, to the results that -45 had been voted into office to be the 47th president, okay, of the United States. And if you look at, I want to say this, if you look at and I'm not going to put this on the screen for long, but I feel like this is important. If you look at the way that the votes landed within demographics of race and gender, which I happen to have, amen, and you rearrange it from who voted for him, which is at the top of the graph, to who didn't vote for him, which I put at the bottom of the graph. It's pretty evident that the majority of my audience, which is the line at the bottom of this graph, 92% of the people who are potentially watching me right now voted for Kamala Harris, for Vice President Kamala Harris. And so you could understand that the audience that I serve, we are feeling a lot of complex emotions right now, because if you look at this graph and you look at my little scribble notes on the graph, right? This is why I did it. The systems were out here systeming. Yeah. The systems voted to maintain themselves. What do I mean by that? If you look at the graph, you guys, white men were the largest group that voted for him. Then Latino men, who I have learned from listening to Latino women, have a lot of patriarchal machismo, as they call it. So that's patriarchy at the top, right? They came in second, aligning themselves with the top of the food chain socioculturally, unfortunately. And then right below that, we have white women who I personally wasn't looking for them to do a big shift, because you have to do the work to do a big shift. You know what I mean? And safety pins and blue friendship bracelets, as much as I have no problem with you signaling to me that you're a safe person, an external thing to signal that you're a safe person is not the work that needs to be done within your group of humans, as evidenced by more than half of white women still voted against their own interests. So there's that. I see a lot of people online being distraught and traumatized and like flailing all over the place. And I'm just like, what? Y'all thought it was going to be that big of a shift? Anyway, the next few lines: white women, other races, and Latino women. System of racism, unfortunately. You know, I'm always telling y'all about these systems and how these privilege is a prison, and the systems vote. The systems are trying to perpetuate themselves and blah, 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 blah. And then at the very bottom, Black men who, if I'm being honest, I saw a lot of people dragging Black men on the internet beforehand. Let me say this. This is not what this video is about, but I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to the positive part. Let me just get this out my head. This is a helpful breakdown. Jelia, I had to do this. I had to see something, because I feel like the systems was going to system. You know what I mean? Water was wet, up is up, down is down. Yeah, winter is cold, summer is hot, and America is going to America. That's what I was feeling when I rearranged it. And I don't know if these are the final numbers. These might have been the numbers on, what's today? On Wednesday evening. So I don't know if these are like the final, but when I did it this way, for some reason it made me calm, because it made me realize that systems are systeming. So it took the shock out of it. It was just like, oh yeah, patriarchy. Oh yeah, misogyny, racism. Oh yeah. I was going to say this. Before the election happened, I saw a lot of people dragging Black men. And I get it, because 20% of Black men, right? You see me put that little patriarchy sign over there. They fell for they went for the okie doke. The system sucked them in, and they still trying to collect their prizes. I don't have nothing to do with that. Okay. That don't have nothing to do with me. All right. But I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, based off of what they were trying to make it. And then I wasn't too much a fan of the fact that people were dragging Black men because they thought that they weren't going to vote for their own interests, but they were like coddling white women in the messaging. It was kind of like, well, if your husband doesn't want you to vote that way, remember, you can vote that way privately in the booth. I didn't like the difference in messaging before the election, especially because Black men actually showed up. They didn't show up especially as much as we wanted them to, but also privilege is a prison. And for almost 80% of them to bust through patriarchy and be willing to vote for a woman, a qualified, I mean, just beyond listen, anyway. So anyway, with this in mind, I didn't mean to have this on the screen that long, but when I did this, like Jelia said, this actually helped me a lot, even though it was heartbreaking, even though it was sad, even though it was like WTF, expletive, expletive, expletive. It was kind of like, oh, I get it. Like I told y'all, the sun is hot, chicken is delicious. The Virgin Islands is one of the most beautiful places on the planet. Okay, up is up, down is down, America is America. So I wanted to talk to you guys about ways that I feel like Black women can win anyway. And when I tell you, it's not going to be nothing different than what I've been telling y'all, but hopefully it hits a little different today. Hopefully it hits a little different today. Marissa said, we can create peace from within. Same messages as you. Great reminder. So yeah, I'm going to win. This is what I want to do today, you guys. I want to talk to Black women about the fact that, as I've said to you guys in the past, you have permission to take full agency over the life you want to create. Yeah, full agency. If you know anything about me, the definition of joy for me is when a Black woman figure out that she gets to make choices, okay? I don't want you guys out here listen, you can make whatever choice you want to. Matter of fact, I've seen people making the like run in and save the day choice. I've seen them on my timeline. But I want Black women to know that we have been trained almost to be the fixer, to be the runner-inner, to be the bridge builder, to be the all the thingser. And all of that is to the detriment of ourselves. To the detriment of ourselves. So I want Black women who are probably grieving validly right now and should be grieving, because nothing is more disappointing than realizing that systems are systeming. I know people out here on the internet like me and other people have been telling you systems be systeming, and girl, you need to choose yourself, preserve yourself, create your joy and all of that. But when you see it in your face, it's a reminder that although there is some progress, because I think 65 million people voted for Kamala, which is amazing. When you think about how far away we are from like the Voting Rights Act, 1965, it's not that long ago that Kamala might not have even been able to make it good to the polls and vote. Okay. And it's astonishing that we've gotten this far. And I know that there are Black women we are taught from jump to pick up the weight of the thing. I said it last week in last week's video. Be careful. You're going to wake up and it's going to be something on your back and you don't know who put it there. You didn't put it there, okay? Because this system, the same system I'm showing y'all, puts things on our backs. And we have been taught to see it as service and sacrifice and this and that and the other. But Black woman, relax. That's what today's about. I want you to relax. I want to this is your permission slip, okay, to win anyway. What do I mean by win anyway? This is your permission slip to prioritize yourself, to prioritize your joy, to grieve the fact that the system is systeming. Like, look it full in the face. Let's look at it one more time. Let's look it full in the face. Grieve it. Be sad about it. But acknowledge the reality. That's what I'm saying. Acknowledge the reality, y'all. Just because somebody has a blue friendship bracelet on, and listen, like I said, I'm not one of these people that's mad about the friendship bracelet movement. I just, in my mind, I'm thinking, but 50, I want you, ma'am, if you didn't vote for him, I want you to get in there and talk to your cousin and your aunt and your mama, because on your mama, on your hood, one of them voted for them, because based off of this statistic, the work is not done yet. The work is not done yet. And the work is not ours to be done. That's the other thing. Black woman, we get it. Do not sacrifice yourself trying to teach a lesson to a person who is committed to not understanding the lesson, because I'm not going to say they don't understand. I believe that the group of people don't understand what their choice was, and the whole leopard's going to eat my face thing. I believe that, but I also believe that some of them fully understood what they were voting for. I'm not one to put like, ooh, I'm such an innocent person, I don't know what's going on anybody, because people are smarter than you think they are. Okay, there are videos of people straight up saying what they were voting for, and it was to maintain the system. I watched a video of a white man telling an Asian man he voted so that whiteness could be preserved. Listen, I mean, some of them are ignorant. There are people who don't, the storylines of, they don't understand how tariffs work. They don't understand. I feel like that's letting some people off the hook. Okay. But Black woman, this is not our lesson to learn. So this is your permission to prioritize your joy, prioritize your rest, put down the emotional labor of other people. Because if you look at that chart, we already know they need to do it for themselves. They need to learn it for themselves. They're, and we have a tendency to be the ones to self-sacrifice. And other groups of people know that. I've seen things on the internet that say that there are people from other races who have said that when they were a kid, their parent told them that if they ever got in trouble somewhere, to look for a Black woman. You know why that is? Because if you're in a room with a bunch of people and you see a Black woman's going to help you. And people know that. But who's going to help us? We got to direct our support and community care toward helping each other, because nobody's coming to rescue us. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I definitely want to be I don't know, Sandra Upper quicker, and tell you guys that this election result happened. This happened. They voted that way because that's what they wanted. Some out of ignorance, many not out of ignorance. Many benefit from the systems, period. Grieve that, feel it, and then decide to yourself how you are going to show up. Decide to yourself how you're going to show up. Yeah, Voyage Her Collective said, we showed up once again only to be let down. It's time for us to sit down and take care of ourselves for once. They'll figure something out. That part. And that's why you guys have been listening to me all this time. And I've been telling y'all to take a pause. I've been telling y'all it's November. Last year I had a whole series about November, time to let go, time to say no. Okay. About jumping off this conveyor belt and people always trying to win their prizes, and you chucking the deuces at other people who trying to drag you down this conveyor belt to win your prizes. Y'all, this is your life. This is your opportunity to create something. So let's talk about this. I wrote down, I have notes because, and I wrote them yesterday. So if I'm a little all over the place, it's because I didn't review my notes. Okay. Continue to pray. I wrote down, this is not a call for resilience. This is a call to rest. Personally, I don't love the word resilient, because resilient to me is the ability to withstand hardship. And I personally don't like the idea that I'm supposed to be Ford tough. I don't want to be Ford tough. I'm not saying that there wasn't a time when we had to be Ford tough. And I'm also not telling you guys that things might not come down the pike where we have to go into a resilient place. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I want Black women. Let me show y'all again. This chart is wonderful. Look at us on the bottom. 92% of us. Only single digits of us are floating off in la la land somewhere, going to be confused when they get the outcomes they have. Imagine that. I also don't think that it's shocking because I didn't put this chart in here, but when you look at how people voted based off of like level of education, the more education somebody had, the more likely it was that they voted blue. And Black women are one of the more educated groups in the country. So that correlation seemed to make sense to me, right? Just basic understanding of how things actually work. Delays in policy, the results of policies, and tariffs, and just all of it. It's whatever. Anyway, let me get to my notes. It's not a call for us to be resilient. I don't care if you're resilient, sweetie. It's not about being resilient. I want you to rest. I want you to chill. I want you to not have anybody give you the whole, like, you need to be able to bounce back. You need to be able to recover from challenges. You need to be able to be tough and adaptable and forward tough. I don't care about that. I don't want you to be that way. There will be scenarios where you have to turn that on, but I want you to show up for yourself and allow yourself to rest. Because unfortunately, that messaging of resilience that we get becomes a burden that we are told we have to live under to be like constantly strong, and an excuse for systems to keep causing us harm, because they'll be like, oh, they'll be fine. They'll bounce back. They'll be fine. And this like romanticizing struggle. Look how strong she was. Oh, she sacrificed for everyone, and denying of our ability to be human and vulnerable. This expectation that we're supposed to keep functioning under persistent traumatic events. And this like requirement that we keep serving everyone else, even though we are in pain and we are being harmed. And like this celebration of endurance. I don't want it. Let me tell you, when I tell y'all, I opt out of this like glorification and celebration of endurance on the backs of specifically Black people, when Black women, Black people, Black women especially, where I don't want to be one of the people celebrated for the excellence. I'm built for tough. She got through it. She'll shake it off. No. And let me tell you what, one of the things that I don't want to say wrestling with, one of the things that I'm coming to terms with is understanding that I have to continue creating this for myself and showing up for other Black women in this way. Because unfortunately, you guys, the reality is heartbreaking, but it is what it is. And if anybody watches this video and they're just like, oh, you're making sweeping generalizations. I'm not making sweeping generalizations more than this is. I mean, I'm just calling a thing, as Ayanna says. Okay. I'm not making sweeping generalizations. I'm sure that there are exceptions to our rules. 7% of Black women did vote in a way that doesn't make any sense to me, but they also get to do that. Okay. So this is what I want you guys to know. I want you guys to remember that it's November, and it's not a time for us to be resilient. It's not a time. It's not a time for you to toughen up. It's not a time for you to continue to be harmed. It's not a time for you to succumb to the like, I'm going to bounce back messaging. It's a time for you. It's not a time. Let me keep going. More stuff. It's not a time for you to be strong. I don't care if you're strong. Matter of fact, the day after the election, I hosted a Zoom call so Black women could come on and not be strong. And thanks to everyone who joined the call. There was a great turnout. Some of us said nothing. Some of us vented. Some people cussed. Some people were tearing up. Some people it was a lot. And the reason why I hosted that space is because we need those spaces. We need those spaces. You are not somebody's superhero. You are not a magical Black Negro. Listen, I love the idea of like Black girl magic. I used to, but now I've kind of like pulled away from that thought, because we are not magical. We are, but we aren't. You know what I mean, right? Like, because sometimes implying that we're magical means that we're superhuman and therefore we don't have humanity. You don't have to keep going like nothing happened. Something happened. Something happened. You're living in a country with complex social history that is still displaying itself today in things like the outcome of our election. That is actually happening in real life. And that can bring up a lot of emotions. That can make you sad. That can make you angry. That can make you disappointed. That can make you disillusioned. That can make you confused. It can make you scared. It can make you worried. Those are valid things. And one of the reasons I want to show up today is because I want you guys to know that you're not feeling anything that isn't invalid. There's going to be a lot of messaging on the in the world, in the internet, that's going to invalidate you, but you can't be invalidated by 90+% of a group that agrees with you. I agree with you. And I want you to know that. You don't have to prove your worth through enduring anything, right? You don't have to bypass all of the messaging on the internet that's like, yeah, but God's in control, or I don't let you guys, you guys are giving too much to those people, and humor. I wrote it down: spiritually bypass, emotionally bypass, comedically bypass, productivity bypassing, meaning like busy, 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 busy working. All of that meaning that you're taught to not feel your feelings because your feelings are valid. I'm giving you permission right now to feel whatever you feel for as long as you feel it. I pray that you don't sulk in it forever, which is why I call this win anyway, because I feel like choosing to win is a choice, and it's the choice that I'm making. And at the same time, allowing myself to feel what I feel, allowing myself to not be strong, allowing myself at times to be feeling complex emotions that are fear and disappointment and all of that. And I haven't cried. I felt like I was going to cry the first day. And the reason why I felt like I was going to cry the first day is because I really had allowed myself to hope that I could live under her policies and her joy. I was looking forward to being led by this woman's joy. And I was actually like looking forward to some of the policies she was proposing to see if those things could happen and what that would be like. And so when I woke up and I realized that that was not going to be the case, the first set of tears that wanted to come up in me had nothing to do with the disappointment of the country. Because honestly, I already told y'all, yellow's my favorite color. I am tall. The sky is up. The ground is down. America is America. Unfortunately, we are not that far away from like segregation, you guys. And it's still showing up in our systems. People who lived through segregation are still alive. People's descendants, like we are hundreds and thousands of years away. So the fact that we've gotten as far as we have, that 65, I think, million people actually voted for Kamala, is astonishing when you think about how far we've gotten. It's astonishing. Okay, so here's what I wrote down. I want you to stop doing these things right now. I want you to stop carrying the load of other people. I want you to stop exposing yourself to content on the internet or in real life that is traumatic. You do not have to be exposed to those things. I want you to stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to not understanding you. I want you to stop trying to educate others. They know. They know. And even if they don't know, it's not your job to teach them. We live in an information age. If they wanted the information exists at this point. You are not the savior of the world, Black women. A lot of us have been given a messianic complex. Listen, I'm not saying that to be judgmental. I'm saying that because I was that person where I thought I was helping by always trying to like fix and save at the detriment of myself. You don't have to explain it to them anymore. They know. I don't want y'all carrying any other person's emotional weight. You have enough emotional weight of your own. I need you to be strong and rested and take care of yourself to be able to live in the society that people have voted for us to live in, right? I want you to not tell yourself you have to push through. I actually want you to consider sometimes opting out. And listen, I don't know how opting out looks for you. Opting out can be a lot of things. Some people opt out and leave the country. And if you want to opt out and leave the country, you need to check out exodussummit.com. There are resources galore in that community for Black women who want to either leave the country permanently or for a short term or just to travel. That resource exists. Some people opt out when it comes to working in the systems and being the person who is trying to drive these change forces. And they just decide to just live their life and be a human being, right? Some people opt out when it comes to exposing themselves to negative things. You choose the level of opting out. I'm just saying, I am certain that if you are a Black woman, you're opted in too much. You're too opted in. You're too opted in already, boo boo. Choose your level of opt out and opt out. Be more vulnerable. You get to be mad. You get to be tired. You get to choose to protect your peace. You get to set up boundaries, especially now. You do not have to explain yourself. You get to unfollow people. You get to mute people. You get to say, not today. You get to be unavailable. Okay. You get to limit your exposure to triggering discussions. You get to intentionally put yourself in places where you feel seen, heard, and valued. If you, once again, Exodus Summit, a group of Black women who are like minded. My coaching membership, thepineapplecrowns.com, is on the screen, a space for Black women where you're not going to feel like you're fighting for your life trying to explain foundational things to anybody. Okay. I have a Facebook group called Find Your Light. You can come there. bit.ly/glamazini, find your light. Okay. Another group of Black women. I know Dr. Raquel Martin has a group that's Burn Your Cape. You can find her on Instagram. Well, she's everywhere, but Instagram. She has a Burn Your Cape community that's for Black women who are and she is a psychologist, either psychologist or psychiatrist. She has resources specifically geared toward Black women burning the cape and not taking up the superhero complex that we are always taught. Dr. Kimani Norrington Sands just did a 2-part video series on her YouTube channel, Lifting as We Climb Consulting, yesterday and the day before, about grief, Black women grieving the outcome of the election. She is also a psychologist, and I believe psychologist or psychiatrist. I don't know. Kimani, sorry if you watch this. And she helps Black women liberate themselves from toxic jobs. She is a co-founder of the the Job Liberation Summit with Marissa Price, who also has resources for Black women who are healing. We're everywhere. You get to limit your exposure from people who vote against your interests with intention, and not feel bad about anybody telling you that you're not supposed to. And you get to focus your mind into these places that have been created specifically by other Black women for such a time as this. Okay? For such a time as this, y'all. Because the way that we are going to make it through living in a society that will, for all intents and purposes, throw us under the bus, is we are going to have to lift each other, support each other, give resources to each other, let each other have a safe place to vent, cry, say nothing, be present, feel loved, feel seen, process our complex emotions about being in a space where our ancestors were brought, most of us, not all of us, without their consent, and yet their blood is part of the fabric of this country. That's complex, right? A lived experience that only certain groups can understand, and only certain groups will vote from that lens. I also want you guys to put yourself first. And I know that that sounds selfish to people who have been told to put themselves last, but and I have videos about a lot of these things I'm talking about that I've done in the past. I will put them in the I'll come back on whatever platform you're watching on and put them either in the information box or the comments, because I remember I did a video with Dr. Judy talking about be more selfish. And here's the thing. Black women we are trained to be so selfless that anything we're so far over here that anything we do to be more selfish, we're never going to be over here. Okay. It would be, if we get over there, we would be making choices like some of the other people, the other groups of people. Any correction you're going to do is going to at least bring you to the center. It's going to at least bring you to the center. You're going to be more apt to care for yourself in a healthy way. Because I promise you that many of us are doing this thing in an unhealthy way. And we're starting to realize that this is not it. This is not our lesson to learn. Let me show y'all again. It's not our lesson to learn, you guys. And it's not our job to teach other people a lesson that 92% of us, for all intents and purposes, already know. Relax. Rest. Rest, you guys. You don't have to save the world. You don't have to pick up the pieces. Matter of fact, sometimes continually picking up the pieces for someone else means you become an enabler where they never get to see the consequences of their actions. It's that whole like give a man a fish, teach a man to fish. Sometimes you need to just let the pieces fall and allow and preserve yourself, preserve your sister, get some rest, drink your water, and mind your business. So that's why I came to tell you guys I want you to win anyway. I want you to prioritize your rest. I want you to choose to rest. I want you to choose to recover. I want you to choose to preserve yourself. I want you to choose to look at things that your instinct is like, I can help them. I can fix it. I could tell them. They don't understand. They're misunderstanding. And just soothe your nervous system and sit down somewhere. I think I have a video that I said called Sit Down Somewhere. I've been trying to tell y'all this for a long time. Choose to prioritize your own well-being over the social demands that people are going to keep bringing to you. Because remember, people are saying on TikTok and on the internet that they were told, if you ever are in trouble, look for a Black woman, which means the messaging inside of our group is to be the mule. And the messaging outside of our group is that we're the mule. So you have to individually choose not to be the mule. Okay? Not to be the mule. Let things fall where they fall. Let things fall where they fall. We've been consistently asked to fix crises, to fix things. That's not our responsibility. And while you're busy trying to fix everybody else's everything else, what's happening in your world? Is your world coming asunder because you have not put on your oxygen mask first? Self-care is a revolution. Self-care is a choice that we make to preserve ourselves. Even if you wanted to help fix something, you can't because you're so tired and you haven't taken care of yourself. So I think that moving forward, and this is not a full out thought, you guys, this is just something that I've been thinking about. I want us to consider closing our phones, not always being in the news, not always being the ones at the head of everything. I want us to reduce our stress, to intentionally not be burnt out. And honestly, to prioritize things like basic, simple things. You know, if you know anything about me and my coaching, I always say, don't knock small things you haven't tried. Drink your water, take your medicine, prioritize your sleep, get a hobby and do it. Enjoy your life with intention. Don't spend a bunch of time focusing on a world that's burning. Make the choices to curate the life that you want. You have the ability to curate something beautiful, something different, something that is for you because you deserve it. You deserve to have it right now. You deserve to have it right now. Create spaces for yourself and your loved ones that are peaceful, that are joyous, that have humor and laughter. This morning I went on Kev on Stage and Tony Baker's Instagram and just sat there laughing, watching old videos that I've seen before. I'm wearing my shirt that says joy because I choose it. I choose it. Joy is when I realize, for me, joy is realizing that I have agency to create this thing. Is it going to sometimes be harder to create because now I am affronted with the choices of others? Yeah. And at least now I know. So I can grieve. Not that I didn't know before, but at least now, like, it's in writing, in like recent writing the past few days, and I can go and make some other choices. And those choices are going to be to allow those that voted for what they voted for to get what they voted for. Listen, if it happened and that's what you wanted, bless it. If you tell me that's not what you wanted, you didn't understand, da, bummer. I'm looking at my notes to make sure. I'm going to just read off. I wrote down, Black women, create safety nets for yourself with intention. Build daily protection practices. And I don't mean like whatever you consider a protection practice. Okay. For me, protection practices are, I look for joy and humor. I make sure I get good rest. I make sure I drink my water. Y'all sick of seeing this. Okay. I make sure I moisturize and hydrate my skin. I just bought a water pick for the first time because I be messing up on the flossing, although I'm getting better at the flossing. I bought a water pick. You know why? Because I deserve a water pick. I don't care who's the president. My teeth deserve to be water picked. Okay. I just started a new podcast. By the way, if you don't see the new podcast, the second podcast episode for the I've Created a Monster podcast went up. I'll put a link to that down below later. But if you go on YouTube, it's at Monster Created, second thing. If you want to see it, go ahead and see it, okay? Over there talking about my abortion story. Rusty, did you have an abortion? Well, you have to go watch the podcast to see what I said. Okay, you got to go watch the podcast, okay? I filmed that episode before the election results when we were all ignorant and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, okay? Go watch it. You know why I created that podcast? Because I wanted it to be a place of expression. And I still feel I'm so happy I created it because now I need a place of expression even more because expression is the opposite of depression. And I am in a season where depression could try it, but it's not going to. Okay. I don't know if y'all have seen me these past few years. It's just not going to. The way you win is you show up with an internal strength, an internal knowing, an internal value proposition of who you are and who you are going to show up as in the world. You're not hypervigilantly scanning back and forth to see what other people are going to allow for you to do today. Abso-effing-lutely not. You wake up in the morning. You decide how you're going to look. You decide what you're going to eat. You decide how much rest you're going to have. You decide what life you're going to create. You decide whether you like your job or not, whether you're going to keep it or not, whether you're going to stay in this country or not, whether you're going to stay in that religious space or not. You decide that you're going to look good. You decide to value yourself higher than even others are showing you that they value you. Doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. You decide that you need grief right now, so you grieve. You decide that you need to laugh right now, so you laugh. You decide that you need sun right now, so you go in the sun. I don't care what other people. I'm seeing all kind of stuff on the internet, and I'm just like, rotten to the core. I'm saying, people, you just be like, Some people are rotten to the core. Rotten. Okay. I wrote down, plan your comfort rituals. What are comfort rituals? Human beings need soothing, just like babies need soothing. Think of your senses, what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you perceive, what you write, and incorporate with intention things that help to soothe you. These things help psychologically, but they also help soothe your body physically, your nervous system. We as Black women have a lot of physical trauma that lives in our bodies from our unique individual lived experiences as a Black woman in society, from our group experiences of trauma in the present, and from epigenetic experiences handed down in our DNA. You have to have intentional soothing practices. Maybe it's a song, maybe it's sitting in the sun, maybe it's surrounding yourself with pineapples because pineapples make you happy. Maybe it's putting on perfume, even though you're just going to be walking around the house. Maybe it's actually getting dressed in a cute little two-piece top and bottom that you found from the TikTok shop. Maybe it's calling a friend that you can laugh with. Maybe it's a fuzzy blanket that makes you feel good. Maybe it's a little fidget ball. Maybe it's a diffuser that smells really good with certain essential oils. You have to put comfort rituals in place, Black woman. I cannot stress that enough. We are not taught to care for our body. A lot of us grow up in church spaces. We're told that our body is a temple, but then we see people in these church spaces and they don't take care of their temple. Take care of your temple. And that's an easy way to do it. Figure out ways to soothe yourself that can actually bring your nervous system, that feeling from here down. If it would help a baby, it might help you. Something smell good, something tastes good. Don't eat too much though. Try to be as healthy as possible. And if you're going to do unhealthy, only splurge, okay? Something that feels good. A poem book. You like to journal, a coloring book. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Connect with trusted communities. Curate community care without depleting yourself. I have a video I did a few weeks ago that was calling, I think it was called Let's Make Your Team. Y'all, this when you need the team. This when you need the team. I've been trying to tell y'all, this is when you need community care. This is when you need Black women like me sitting here on the internet saying, hey, you guys, you're not crazy. Hey, you guys, you could win anyway. Hey, you guys, you can choose something that is self-preserving. Somebody else might call selfish because they consider it to be selfish because they were sucking you dry. Okay, so now that you decided not to be sucked dry, now they got to figure out how to do it on their own. Well, boohoo. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Go sit somewhere. Jelia said don't skip the sauna. I wish I had access to a sauna. You know what I want to get, Jelia? I want to get one of those. You ever seen those people with the red light mask that they look ridiculous because like the whole face and down to the neck and they just sit there like this? I want one of those. You know why? Because I deserve it. I deserve it. Okay. I deserve it. And so do you guys. I wrote down identify safe spaces beforehand. And if you don't identify those safe spaces, I've told you a few of them. ThePineappleCrowns.com. It is my coaching membership for Black and West Indian women. You can go out there and join the membership right now. Okay. My Find Your Light Facebook group, bit.ly/glamazini, Find Your Light. Exodus Summit is an amazing group. Dr. Raquel Martin has the Burn Your Cape community. I don't know. There are other ones. Google us. Okay. Google us. We out here creating spaces so that Black women, when America fails us, we aren't failing ourselves. Find people who understand what you're going through without having to continuously explain. Nothing is more exhausting than having to have a conversation with somebody and you fighting for the foundational parts of the conversation. You can never get past zero because they're trying to say, well, did you misunderstand? Well, what did you do to cause that? Well, you always making it about race. Listen, get around Black women where you can start the conversation at step 25. You don't have to do that because she already understands. You're choosing exhaustion at this point. Don't do that. Right? The other thing I want you guys to think about as a safety net is remind yourself that you don't have to be a resource and not receive resource. Don't just give to the point of depletion and not receive back. Because you're going to be asked to give. You have to catch yourself. You have to choose yourself. Matter of fact, put down something that is going external today and replace it with something that is only for you. I kid you not. Say no to something today. Put it down and go make a pedicure appointment, boo-boo. Go take a nap. Wake up and decide what's next. Put yourself first. Get your sleep. I have a whole video about how to get better sleep. I'll go back and watch this video, you guys, and put all the previous videos when I've been trying to tell y'all, like, hey, You got to build this on the inside of you. You got to build this on the inside of you. Okay. The world on the outside ain't going to do it. It's not going to do it. I don't think we are going to live. This might sound depressing, but sometimes you have to understand that this might be the truth of the matter. Most of us watching this are probably not going to live to see the world that we desire. Some of us it may come quicker, but waiting to live your life and give yourself a full, flourishing life that is beautiful until you get to the promised land, boo-boo. Do it now. Go get a bouquet of flowers for yourself now. Forget the election results. You better go get yourself some flowers. You better go take a shower. Okay. I don't want to yell sis get up. I don't want to yell girl get up at you like I do on the other videos, because this is a valid point of grieving and I allow you to grieve. Sweetie, grieve. Do what you got to do. I told the ladies on the call that I hosted that the calories don't count until Sunday. Okay. So if one of them had a case of cupcakes on the call and I was like, listen, boo-boo, don't go too far, but the calories don't count until Sunday. Okay. But still, make sure you sleep. Make sure you put yourself first. Make sure you eat well. Take care of yourself. Make sure you choose to move your body when you can. Okay? Make sure you express yourself. This is important. I want to tell you guys this. This is important. And listen. Okay, wait. I have a research study on the screen. I don't know if y'all know this. I'm a nerd. I like research studies. I need you guys to hear this. Please listen. Somebody sent me a video the other day of somebody saying a fact. And I was like, oh, that's cute. But they said it was a research study. And y'all know I like to look up a research study. So I put my Google fingers together and I looked up this research study. And this research study is so good. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. And when I'm done, I'll put a link to the study in the where the links go. Okay. I want Black women to to express themselves and become more comfortable with being disappointing to other people. Because you're going to have to learn how to be disappointing. You're going to have to learn how to be disappointing. Okay. You're going to have to learn that you're not going to meet the expectations of everybody. Listen, this is the expectations of everybody. Look, the expectations of everybody here. How are you going to beat that? What's your penis? Anyway, let me tell you the research study. The person on the video said that women are more likely to die, you guys, when they don't speak up. What? What you say now, Chuck? Self-silencing. This study found that self-silencing is linked to a higher risk of heart disease, specifically in women, and premature death. Self-silencing and the risk of heart disease and death in women, the Framingham offspring study. Basically, they had women. You ready for this? I'm trying to get Black women to understand. They had women. Everyone in the group was in an unhappy marriage, to my understanding. That's what I understand. Okay. Everyone in the group was in an unhappy situation. So it wasn't like some were happy and some were happy. It was an unsatisfying situation. Some spoke up about it. Others kept quiet about it. So all are in a crappy situation. Listen to me. Let me show this. All are in a undesirable situation. All are in a crappy situation. Yeah. Some of them spoke up. The other ones didn't. Guess what they found? The ones who spoke up had a lower chance of premature death and heart disease. I need you to be more disappointing. I need Black women to be more disappointing to others so that they're not disappointing themselves. We out here dropping down like flies. We've all seen it. This is not listen. Do you see my eyeballs? Are my eyeballs telling y'all what I need y'all to listen? Did y'all hear that? Both were in undesired situations, but the ones that didn't speak up over time showed an increase in, what's it called? Carotid atherosclerosis and cardiovascular plaque, increased risk of heart attack, higher risk of premature death for women who self-silence, women who didn't express themselves in fights were 4 times more likely to die than those who did. Self-silencing can lead to psychological distress, impacts on nervous system, and increased risk of physical illness. I'll put a link to the study down below. The studies, Elaine D. Ecker and Margaret Kelly Hayes. It's not time for you to be out here right fighting with anybody, you guys. Don't right fight with them. But find places like this and express yourself. Curate your community. Metabolize your emotions. Speak up somewhere. Don't speak up in a place where you're going to be getting fight with a bunch of people talking stupidness to you. Who has the time? Who has the time? We're about to have 4 years. You better get into your plants, start painting or something. Okay. Come up with a peaceful morning situation that you do every morning before you get into social media. Maybe come up with a day when you're not on social media at all. Start a podcast, jump on live, invite me. I'll come chat with you in the comments section. Okay. Key. Indulge in life's simple pleasures, you guys. This is the time. It's not time to grease up your face and put the 2 black lines under your eyes and run into war. Why? People are making choices for the life that they actually want. This is the life that these people want. Right? I wrote down indulge in life's simple joys as your personal act of resistance. Drink your water, go for a walk, bake a cake, open that cookbook you've been meaning to open, take care of your plants, put on some makeup, and live your best, most beautiful life, Black woman. Do not wait for permission to enjoy yourself. Live your life right now. Win anyway. Whenever your mind goes to the past of, I thought they understood. I thought we were gonna. Well, we didn't. Take a deep breath. We didn't. But what if this? But what if that? But what if that? That doesn't exist right now. Bring it back. Bring it back. Take a deep breath. Now is all we have, boo-boo. What you thought was going to happen is not what happened. We're not there yet. Ever? I don't know. What you think may happen is not happening right now. Bring it back to right now. Take a deep breath and choose something right now. Something small, something easy, something that is taking care of yourself, something that you can do right now. And go through the next week, month, next year, 4 years, all of it, okay? Reminding yourself that you get to win anyway because you get to make choices like that. Don't wait for permission. Don't listen to somebody who tells you that you're being frivolous. Somebody is always going to want to listen. If somebody sees you as a mule, they're going to always be trying to strap something on your back. It's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. You are not, the weight of the world is no longer something that we all need to be dragging around. Refuse to let others define how you're supposed to show up, your worth in the situation, or to steal your happiness. Cultivate your joy from within. Every morning, the first words that I say out of my mouth, I've been doing this for months. I open my eyes. I used to say, hey, God, let's do this. I used to be chopping it up with Jesus and all kind of stuff. But nowadays, when I open my eyes, I say, as above, so below, as within, so without. Do you know what I mean by that? As within, as above, so below is heaven on, bring heaven down here, God, okay? As it is in heaven, so it is on earth. But as within, so without is my way of saying that I'm going to choose what I want inside of me first. And I'm not going to let, what is that? Because if I let external forces create the life that I want for me, that's depressing. I'm not doing it. And I don't want you guys to do it either. You don't have to. Refuse to give your one life to someone else who is telling you it's supposed to be built on your back. The other thing I wanted to say is Black women are some of the most educated people in this country, and because of that, we lean heavily on intellect and facts. And objectively, Kamala was a better candidate, right? When you look at her track record, when you look at how she has served in our country, when you look at her ability to articulate policies, when you look at her level of empathy, her level of joy, her communication skills, her all of it. She was objectively a better candidate. If you had taken all of the criteria for her and for negative 45, put them on a paper and didn't say the race or the gender or anything of the person, objectively, she was a better candidate. And we know that. Intellectually, we know that. Everybody knows that. So I want Black women to also realize that sometimes intellectual understanding and facts doesn't matter to people. People choose things based off of lots of complex things. It doesn't matter if you can explain it to a person. You're going to exhaust yourself explaining it to a person who is not choosing it from intellect and fact. And I'm saying this to you as a person who spent much of my life trying to explain a lot of stuff to a lot of people because I am an intellectual person. You hear me out here quoting research studies to you. Do not exhaust yourself trying to explain something that is objectively obvious from a factual standpoint to somebody who is not making decisions based off of fact. They're making decisions based off of a lot of complex things, their own traumas, their own whatever, how they want to show up in the world, the systems that they've been under, the lenses that they choose, the blah, blah, blah. It's not your job. Sit down somewhere. Okay. Sit down somewhere. Okay. I wrote this last night. I'm going to read this to you guys and then I'm going to run. And then I'm going to run and I'm going to create the rest of my beautiful Friday. Okay. A love letter to Black women because I think we need a love letter right now. I think we need a love letter. A love letter to Black women. You don't have to carry this. Not the weight of the world, not the endless demands placed on your shoulders, not the burden of proving your worth. Your worth is inherent. It's not earned. It is divinely yours. Right now, you are enough. Do not let anyone or anything convince you otherwise. Choose yourself first as an act of reverence. The choice is sacred. As above, so below. As within, create what's out here. Create your world on the inside first, and then see it on the outside. Your needs and your joy and your peace must come first. The weight of saving a world is not your only legacy. You are entitled to softness. You are entitled to quiet. You are entitled to peace. You are entitled to just be, to rest, to love yourself, to protect your joy, and to reclaim your right to rest. I love you, and you matter. Honor yourself and slow down and breathe. Rest now, Black woman. The world can wait. Win anyway. Because that, my friend, is our victory. And that's it. And that's all she got. Okay. My name is Rashni. I'm a certified life coach for Black and West Indian women. And I have a coaching membership, thepineapplecrowns.com. It is on the screen right now. Let's see. The Create Your 2025 virtual planning retreat is happening December 13th through the 20th. This is a planning retreat that I do every single year. And let me tell y'all something. I feel like more of y'all should come do it because I help you create a plan for how you're going to walk through the following year. Not based off of supposition, based off of understanding who you are and how you actually want to show up in the world. And as you could tell, 2025 is going to be an interesting year. So I think that having a plan for your year might be pretty important, especially one curated based off of who you actually are and supported by Black women. My group is for Black and West Indian women. I extended the pricing, the earliest bird pricing, until 8 p.m. tonight, and then the price will go up $30. If you're looking at the planning retreat, if you go to thepineapplecrowns.com, you can see how to sign up. If you're looking at the planning retreat, you're like, girl, why is this so much more expensive this year? It is because one, I'm a certified life coach. Two, I have a year behind me. And three, I actually added the accountability calls into the planning retreat this year. So it's not a separate thing. You get the additional 10 accountability calls every single month with a group call with me. The reason why I did that is because the women who signed up for the accountability calls knocked it out of the park this last year, to the point that I realized that I needed to add that into the calls. Not only that, every woman that signed up for the accountability calls and finished the accountability calls with me, like attended and did all the things, has already signed back up for the planning retreat again, because they know that it was exactly what they needed. The women told me that they would have never gotten that far. So if you think 2025 is going to be some kind of year for you and you want help, I have created this specific planning retreat to help you. I also have the coaching membership. Go to thepineapplecrowns.com. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love us for real, even though, Monique be tripping, but I love us for real. Okay. Stay safe out there, you guys. Be well, be encouraged. Ooh, here's a pineapple. Bye, y'all.